What's up, you guys? Hope you're doing well. I am back from a little marriage getaway in the Kansas City area, and now I want to share another story with you guys. A way that God has delivered me, sozoed me, and comparison is a beast, right? And not like a cute beast, not like How to Train Your Dragon, not like a little Pokemon. Comparison is a big bad beast, like something big and bad, you know? And specifically for any other younger siblings out there, man, the shadow cast by your older sibling can be the biggest beast of comparison of all. And for me growing up, it was not particularly difficult in terms of comparing myself against my older brother. I would say that I was comparing myself against him, but I didn't feel like I was stuck under his shadow. He was better at the cello than I was at any musical instruments. He was better at academics than I was in, every single one of his academic courses, whether it was math or science or English, was better than mine. So he kind of had those things. He was also better at video games than me, unless they were sports video games, in which case I pwned him. But I felt like I had the upper hand in terms of, I guess you could say, sports or athleticism. He wasn't very sporty growing up. I would say popularity-wise, he had plenty of friends, but I just felt like I was cooler, So I wasn't super stressed about my older brother's shadow. And then he goes to high school. He starts playing football. He starts getting jacked. And he also joins theater and becomes good at that. He becomes popular. He starts dating some different girls, not simultaneously, but he had multiple kind of long-standing relationships. He had a much more lively love life than me. And so by the time I get to high school, he's a junior, and heading into his senior year, he's kind of like, he's not like the king of the campus, cool, but anything that I would try to compete with him in, he was like noticeably farther along than me. And what I started to realize is that it was an unassailable lead. Like I always knew academically I don't stand a chance. Musically, I don't stand a chance. But now to the point where athletically, I don't stand a chance. He was benching 300 pounds. Like, I'm not that guy, I can run farther, like if we're in a cross country race, but that's not the cool athleticism you want. He had cool athleticism, like jacked biceps. And then he had this theater deal, and he was just more well known. He was more popular as far as girls went. He was more comfortable, or in his, I guess like secure in his skin, at least from my perspective at the time. And I was like, that's like all the things. Like, what's left for a little brother? like I can't win. And what I did, and it's the grace of God that I did this, is I just changed the game. And I said, well, I could lose against my older brother for the rest of my life, or I could just change the rules of the game. And to put that in a different phrase, I basically stopped playing the game of comparison, the game of who is cooler, smarter, funnier, more popular, more interesting, more romantic, more athletic, all these things. I just figured, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be me, and that's what I'm going to do. And he can be him, and I can be me. Simple as that, right? And specifically, the if I had one thing that was going to be my thing, I was like, and I don't know if my older brother would agree with this or not. If you're watching this, Andy, you know, hit me up in the DMs. But I felt, and maybe this is just my perspective being his younger brother, but I was like, Andy is a little bit like abrasive, a little like not irritable, but and not quite stubborn, but something kind of in that family of like strong-willed, determined, kind of hard-headed once his mind is made up about something. I don't mean hard-headed like whatever, not open to changing his beliefs, whatever. I just mean as his little brother, like I felt like it was a little abrasive to share a room with sometimes. And so I thought, you know what? I'm not going to compete on any of these things. I'm just going to try to be nice. I was like, maybe that can be the thing that I can like win at. It's like, let me try to be more polite, more just amicable in my relationships. Let me just be an agreeable person, a nice person. Not that Andy, my older brother, is mean, but I thought maybe that could be my thing. But effectively, what I was doing was I was just throwing in the towel on the competition. And so that freed me up. And it's not like every year I'm like, am I nicer than my older brother? Like, that was just like that whole nice thing was like me trying to give myself a consolation prize for waving the white flag. It was not actually a new competition that I was trying to start, because everyone's nice in their own way. Everyone's friends with their own friends. Like, it's not like I'm trying to actually compare myself to my older brother in that way. But it let me get my priorities in line, centered around my character, my faith, just how I relate to people. Like, let me just do what I think is most important. And as it relates to my schooling and my athletics and my whatever, like, let me just do the best I can. And it just freed me to kind of enjoy it more. Like, let me just play sports because it's fun and I like to and I want to. And I'm not going to be better than my older brother. And that's cool. Like, let me just, whatever, study for this course or this class and get the grade that I get. And it's not going to be better than my older brother. And so I just let that go. And it's like it set me free. And I know it's the gift of God that I was even able to do that, because it was associated too with following God. These letting down these other successes and this shadow that I was living under that was about to get me depressed for the rest of my life. And instead, God opened my eyes, helped me see that, like, this isn't the right game. If it ends in me being depressed and me feeling like a loser, it's not the right game, because that's not how He wants any of us to feel. And so what is the game? Man, maybe it's just live my life to the fullest, for lack of a better word. Let me just be who I am before the Lord, and let Him grow me and let Him use me and do the things that I want to do that are pleasing to Him, and it not be about how good am I at this compared to someone else. And so that was really the one time where comparison was starting to rear its ugly head, was realizing I was losing the game. And I stopped playing the game. And ever since then, I haven't really played the game. Like, I'm sure there are like cousins and relatives and things that kind of spawn off of comparison that I probably do struggle with. But generally speaking, like, seriously, it's not a struggle. Like, when someone says that they struggle with insecurity, I'm like, why? You're awesome. Like, I want you, like, don't you know how awesome you are? And to me, that's not a reflection of I'm less awesome, like, it's just not a struggle. It's like, look, let's just champion everybody. Everyone is a legend. Everyone is a hero. Everyone is amazing in different ways, and I really believe that. And it's because I've stopped measuring the quality of who I am against other people. And so, that's pretty much that. I want to share that story with y'all. Hopefully it's helpful. If there are any other younger siblings out there, hey, stop playing the game. Whether you're winning or whether you're losing, hey, stop playing the game. Trust me, life is more free and more fun when you can just be you, and you can also celebrate and champion and love your older siblings getting to be them. And same if you're comparing yourself with anyone else, seriously, how much more fun would it be if you actually were rooting for them and it didn't feel like a negative reflection on you? You didn't feel that shadow, but actually y'all were both your own lights. Two lights. There's no shadow. There's no shadow if there's two lights. Except like somewhere else that's not a light. But if everything's a light, then like we're light. That's all I got for y'all today. Life is worship. God is love.